Okay. One second. Okay. All right. What's going on? I made a vow every single day to stream as long as I'm around, 30 minutes to an hour. This is day number 17. Shout out y'all. It's been a good 17 days. Gonna keep it moving, keep it going forward. Let me see. Hope y'all enjoyed the VOD today. Today the Pokemon VOD came out. That was a banger. But this one I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yesterday I said I was gonna do a game today, but I'll be honest, bro. I don't really know what to play, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a super chill one. I wanna formulate some type of schedule, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like I just been playing the game or doing something every single day, bro. Let's lock in and do a schedule, chat. I think we gotta lock in and do a schedule, bro. So I am now saying Thursdays is reaction days, bro. All right, Thursdays we reacting, bro. That's what we gonna do. I'm gonna find fucking 4 or 5 random videos that you know what I'm saying, that have some type of importance or something like that that we can learn from. Something like that, bro. Something. God damn, I gotta wipe my glasses, bro. Look totally different with my glasses, don't we? Don't I, bro? Don't I? But yeah, bro. So Thursdays we're gonna be reacting. I got a couple of videos. I want to say like 4 or 5. Honestly, that was just on my feed. So like, I figured, fuck it, watch it together, right? Um, so yeah, bro. Tomorrow, go right back to the usual schedule, playing some games. Tomorrow, I'm gonna stop being scared, bro. And I'm gonna play Outlast, bro. Outlast Part One, bro. It's time. What did I do yesterday? Yesterday I did Cyberpunk, bro. R.I.P. Jackie, bro. On everything, on everything we sliding for Jackie, bro. On everything, I'm getting Dex back. Oh my god, I'm getting Dex back, bro. Oh my god. There better be some type of side quest, some type of something to let me get it back in blood, bro. I gotta get back, bro. I gotta get him back, bro. I gotta get him back, bro. And then he tried to take me out too, bro. Yeah, I gotta get him back, bro. I gotta get him back. I'm not trying to hear none of that, bro. I gotta get him back. Um, so to close this out right here. First video. Uh, first video.
Messiah complex.
Gaslighting. One day you.
Mr. Big. Mr. Big is a technique mostly used.
Gaslighting. One day you asked your wife if she wanted.
Hey, lock in. Um, lock in, chat. Lock in. Hold on, bro. Not locked in. Not locked in, bro. Hold on, bro. I'm not locked in, bro. I'm not locked in. I'm not locked in, bro. I'm not locked in, chat. Hold on, bro. I'm not locked in, chat. Hold on, bro.
Hiccups.
I'm so sorry, bro. I'm not locked in, bro. Hold on, bro. Second. Second. Bro, the video I just had just disappeared, bro. What's up? What's going on?
Gaslighting. One day.
Okay. All right. Lock it in, chat. Let me know if y'all been manipulated, bro. Let me know, bro. Lock it in. Keep it a stack, bro. Keep it a stack, bro. Y'all can be honest, bro. Y'all can be honest, bro. Every manipulation tactic in 16 minutes, bro. Lock in, bro. Lock in, bro. Let me know. Hold on, bro. Quality, please. Quality. There you go. All right. Lock it in. Have y'all done any of these before? Have anybody done any of these before? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro.
Gaslighting. One day you
Audio?
asked your
How's
wife
audio?
if she wanted to go to the beach on Saturday, and she said yes because she's excited
Lock it
to
in.
make sandcastles.
Everybody knows this
Night
one.
came and you asked her to get her bikinis ready, only for her to tell you she never agreed to going to the beach
Cap.
because she hates sand.
Cap.
But you specifically remember her agreeing to the trip. Despite that, she keeps insisting she doesn't like the beach until you start questioning your memory and accept that you're wrong. That's what gaslighting is. It's a sneaky manipulation tactic where someone makes you doubt your reality, memory, or sanity. You believe the sky is blue, but someone tries to make you
Stay
doubt your
hydrated.
eyes and convinces you it's green. Before you know it, you start thinking about getting your eyes checked every time you look at the sky. The term comes from a 1938 play called Gaslight, where a husband
Also
tries to
means
make his
gelling.
wife think she's losing her mind by dimming the gas lights in
Don't
the
get
house
jailed, bro.
and denying anything has changed. The wife starts questioning her perception, which is what the husband wants to happen. Gaslighting can happen in small, subtle ways or more serious situations. It often starts slowly, so the manipulated person doesn't notice it immediately. Little by little, the gaslighter chips away at their target's confidence and sense of reality until the person starts questioning their sanity. It can also lead you to doubt yourself more until you start relying on the other person for emotional support. Gaslighting can be used in sneaky ways, through misdirection or anything that can make the person feel confused. Someone might use it by telling you you're overreacting or just imagining things. Over time, you start losing trust in your thoughts until you become dependent on another person's perception and opinions, as if your partner is now your personal GPS because you don't know where to go without them.
Yeah, we saw
Guilt
it.
tripping. Guilt tripping is like someone handing you a bag of
You went like super in depth on that. I ain't even gonna lie. That was a minute 40. Lock it in. Gaslighting. Have I been gaslighted before? Of course. Have I gaslighted? Of course. Do I regret it? Of course not. Let me lock it in though. So check me out. Gaslighting, right? They make you question. They make you question your thought by playing back to the original thought. Putting an idea in your head, make you think he was wrong. Might have to use that.
guilt and saying, "Here,
Guilt
carry
tripping.
this for me." It's a manipulation tactic where a person tries to make you feel responsible for their unhappiness, discomfort, or even failure, as if it's somehow your fault or job to fix. Imagine you've been busy at work and haven't called a friend in a few days. Instead of just saying, "Hey, I miss you," they hit you with, "I guess you're just too busy for me these days. I wouldn't want to bother you with my problems." That sounds hurtful, right? Now you feel like a terrible friend instead of feeling happy to catch up. That's guilt tripping in action. At its core, guilt tripping is about control. The person using it wants to influence your behavior, but instead of asking directly or healthfully expressing their needs, they take a detour through Guilt City. They might not even realize they're doing it, but it can leave you feeling emotionally drained and manipulated. It often works because no one likes to feel like they're letting others down. We naturally want to fix things, especially when we think we've caused someone else pain. Think of it as your emotions' way of being Bob the Builder, because it
Yo,
wants to fix everything.
I feel like sometimes this happens on accident though. Like sometimes you don't be meaning to do that, and it just happens, bro.
But you're usually not the real cause of their feelings. They're just using your sense of responsibility to steer the ship in their favor. It's like being in an emotional gym where you do all the heavy lifting for your gym buddy. In the long run, instead of getting emotional muscle gains, you'll only be weighing yourself down. Love bombing. Imagine getting flowers today, cake tomorrow, a puppy the next day, and a new car next week, all coming from an admirer who claims you deserve all the love in the world. On the surface, it feels like you're being swept off your feet by a real-life version of a Disney prince, but there's a more calculated motive behind it. That's what happens when you're being love-bombed. Love bombing feels like the emotional equivalent of being hit with a fire hose of affection. At first, it feels like you've won the soulmate lottery. They're calling you the one. showering you with gifts, and acting like you're the star of a rom-com. It's flattering, sure, but after a while, it starts to feel like they're trying to hand you the keys to a brand new car that you didn't ask for. You're left thinking, is this a relationship or a game show prize reveal? But that's exactly the point. The idea is to sweep you off your feet so fast you'll need a seatbelt for the emotional roller coaster. Suddenly, you're hooked on their compliments like they're emotional candy, and before you know it, you're craving that validation like it's your morning coffee. The twist is that the same person who love-bombed you is suddenly backing off. Now you're stuck in a weird limbo, desperately trying to get back to that early honeymoon phase where they were basically a love fountain. By this point, you might be emotionally tied to them, giving them all the control over your happiness. This is commonly seen in abusive relationships or even in cults. In short, it's like pushing the fast-forward button on a relationship, but instead of leading to true connection, it leads to control. Silent treatment. You think you're on good terms with a friend because things went well the last time you hung out.
Silent treatment, I've done this as a little kid. Who still does this?
Pizza, but suddenly that friend goes radio silent and stops communicating.
If it's the right person, though, this will work. 10 out of 10.
You don't get a single text or call. You don't even get a single like or thumbs up emoji when you post memes. Then you realize you've been given the silent treatment. This manipulation tactic is the emotional equivalent of a passive-aggressive power play, like playing chess with someone who refuses to move their pieces. It can leave you confused, anxious, and desperate for answers, as if you've become invisible. The person giving the silent treatment essentially uses their silence to control or punish you, often after a disagreement or conflict. Silent treatment is
the whole time it makes the other person want.
Human nature. Most of us are wired to seek connection and validation from others, especially in relationships. When someone withdraws that communication, it triggers a panic that makes you ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Should I apologize? How can I fix this? The silent party holds all the cards and leaves you scrambling to get back into their good graces, often at the expense of your emotional well-being. At first glance, it might not seem as harmful as yelling or name-calling, but the silent treatment can be just as damaging. It creates a power imbalance in relationships where one person controls the flow of communication and the other is left in emotional limbo. Think of it as someone who constantly blocks and unblocks you on Facebook, leaving you powerless in this relationship. Triangulation. Draw a triangle where the
I never heard of this one before.
People. The point at the top is a manipulator, while the other 2 points at the bottom are you and a third person. Now imagine the lines connecting you to the manipulator are puppet strings. This allows the person at the top to hold emotional power over you and a third person in a situation called triangulation. Imagine you and your friend disagreeing, but instead of talking it out, your friend brings in a third person to stir things up. This third person could be another friend, a coworker, or family member. It's like turning a simple argument into an episode of a reality TV show. By involving them, your friend might twist facts or exaggerate things to make it seem like they're the victim or the one in the right. This creates an imbalance of power because it's not just you and your friend hashing things out.
Now it's 2 versus 1. Now it's 2v1. Now it's 2v1. Now it's a 2v1. This most commonly found in people's group chats. Most commonly found in people's group chats.
Making it harder for others to unite against them. They can also use it to validate themselves by getting someone to agree with their point.
Most commonly found in people's group chats.
And it can also be used to shift the blame to
This done cooked us before.
the issue directly. It's a tactic often seen in toxic relationships or workplaces where someone tries to climb the ladder by playing people against each other. For example, a boss
Most commonly
might give
found in
an employee a
people's group
raise
chats.
while leaving the other employees with pizza parties, causing jealousy and competition between everyone in the workplace while maintaining control and preventing you and your workmates from teaming up and demanding higher salaries. Projection. Imagine spilling milk all over the floor, but instead of owning up to your mistake and saying, "Oops, I messed up," you turn around to your brother and say, "Why did you make me spill the milk?" That's one way projection works. This manipulation tactic is also a psychological defense mechanism.
Oh, this be happening. This be happening when somebody walk by the TV and you die because you suck, but you blame it on the person that walked by the TV. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. We all have done these things, bro. We all have done these things, bro. The blamer. This is the blamer, bro. You blame everybody else but yourself, bro. You blame everybody else but yourself, bro.
another person so you don't have to deal with this problem. In relationships, projection can show up in more serious ways. Let's say someone is feeling jealous or insecure. Instead of recognizing that they feel that way, they accuse their partner of jealousy or insecurity. People do this because it's a way of protecting their ego. Owning up to uncomfortable feelings like
That
jealousy,
ego will kill you.
anger,
That
can
ego
make
will
someone
kill
feel
you.
vulnerable. Instead of facing that vulnerability, projection lets them push those emotions outward. It's like, I'm not the problem, you are. So projection is like a game of emotional dodgeball, where you're throwing your feelings at others instead of catching them yourself. But sometimes it might be best
Look, we
to
all
make
have done
game
this to
simpler.
everybody.
Blame shifting. Blame
Oof,
shifting
I know
happens
this
when
one.
you avoid
I know this one.
responsibility by directing the blame onto someone else. Instead of looking
Third
at a
party.
mirror, you'd rather blame it on the camera.
This
when
one and the
yourself
last
become
one is
it.
almost
So while you
similar.
protect yourself from getting blamed, you get everyone in trouble. Blame shifting comes into play when you're in a situation where someone suddenly accuses you of something you didn't do. It's like a bad magic trick, where instead of a disappearing rabbit, accountability disappears. Let's say someone messes up, maybe they forgot an important
Blame it on
task or hurt someone's
somebody
feelings.
else.
Instead of owning up to it, they'll flip
Then
the
that other
situation
person
to
is
you to
cooked.
turn you into the villain.
That other
They might
person
say
is
something
cooked.
like, well, I wouldn't have forgotten that task if you didn't
That
forget
other
to
person
remind me.
cooked.
Suddenly, the focus shifts away from their mistake and onto something you supposedly did wrong. It's like they've got a special shield that allows any incoming criticism to bounce off. They twist the narrative.
Yo, what
so
y'all think
that
about
you're
this
the
new
one who's
YouTube,
left feeling guilty and questioning
HUD, bro?
yourself. It can leave you thinking, wait, am I actually the problem here? People who blame shift often want to protect their ego or avoid consequences. It's a defense mechanism, but toxic because it derails healthy communication. Instead
It
of
don't
working
actually
through the
solve
issue,
nothing, bro. It
becomes
don't
a
actually
game of
solve nothing.
deflection and
It don't actually
confusion.
solve nothing.
They may
Everybody
also
blaming
do it to
everybody, and then it
make
just
you
goes all the way
control
back
the
around from the
relationship
first
or
person blames this
situation,
person,
making
and
the other person
it's just
feel
everybody's
off
cooked, bro. You
balance
should have
or
just said you did it,
responsible for
bro.
things beyond
Should
their
have just said you did
control.
it.
But
Should have just said you did it.
accountability is always a two-way street, where you must own up to your mistakes instead of making people go through a one-way road to blame town.
Should have just said you did it.
When you're in a tough
Ooh.
situation that you caused,
I know a couple
but are too
people.
prideful
I know a
to
couple
accept your
people.
mistake, you
I
can
know a couple
always
people
use
who
the
do this right
oldest
here.
play in the book by pulling out the victim card. Doing so means you're playing the victim in a bad situation where you're the bad guy. This manipulation tactic is the equivalent of wearing the poor me hat, even when you're not the victim, hoping to influence how others treat you. Imagine someone getting caught stealing, but instead of owning up to their mistake, they tell their life story and how they grew up poor. They start
Yo, bro. Damn, how do I say this without saying, bro? Nah, I didn't want to, bro.
focusing on
I
how
ain't
hard their life
I didn't
is
want-
or how they're always misunderstood.
They gonna
Now
bring
the
it.
attention shifts from the theft to the sob story of how the person is the victim
They try
of
to make her feel
society's
sorry for you,
economic
bro.
inequality.
God,
Suddenly,
just
they
say,
are now a
God, not give a fuck
performance
about that,
worthy
bro.
of an Oscar
It is, I'm
nomination.
wrong,
You
bro,
might
and that's
hear
it,
things
bro. They
like,
take the L.
I can't believe you're mad at me after everything I've been through.
Come on, bro.
Or,
We don't care,
"Nobody
bro.
ever appreciates
So I made
how
you do that.
hard I try." Suddenly, you're not talking about what they did wrong because you're feeling guilty
Talking about
for
how they
pulling
got
them
there,
out in
bro.
the first place. It's clever because it plays on people's empathy. Most of us don't want to hurt someone who seems vulnerable or in distress, and manipulators know this. After all, you wouldn't want to throw salt in the wound of someone already down on their knees. But people who use this tactic exaggerate their problems or twist facts to make it seem like they're constantly under attack or dealing with a tough life.
It sucks for the
Which
people
makes
who
others
actually
back
do
off
go
or
through
even
stuff. People
apologize
like
for
this be
confronting
cooking
them.
people like
So
that,
if
bro, who
someone
actually
pulls out the
going through
victim
stuff.
card on you, it might be best to use the Cry Me a River card on your end. Stonewalling. You're in an argument with someone about something important, but instead of discussing or responding to your arguments,
Don't.
that person goes silent, giving you one-word answers, or completely ignores the topic. You might ask, "Hey, what's going on?" and get a response like, "Nothing," or "I don't want to talk about it." Over time, this can feel like you're talking to a brick wall. That's why this manipulation is called stonewalling. It's basically when someone pulls up an invisible wall between you, making it hard for you to get your point across. The idea is to create a barrier that prevents a meaningful conversation from continuing, which can be frustrating for the person on the receiving end. People use stonewalling for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's because they feel overwhelmed or emotionally flooded, and they shut down to protect themselves. Other times, it's a way of controlling the conversation or avoiding conflict by simply refusing to engage, like a kid hiding under the covers during a thunderstorm, hoping the world will forget about them. This tactic can be particularly harmful in relationships because it blocks communication like a traffic jam on a highway, preventing any issues from getting the green light. While stonewalling might seem like a way to avoid an argument, it often worsens things
makes
in
it
the long
worse.
run. The person being stonewalled feels ignored, invalidated, or even disrespected, leading to frustration and resentment. It's like the dreaded scene zone situation on social media. Sometimes it can get so frustrating that you feel you'd have to go through a fortress to get your point across. Mirroring. Mirroring is like someone is trying
I know
to
you are,
be
bro. What
your
am I?
clone in a sneaky
That it right
way
there,
that
bro.
you
I know you are, but what
immediately
am I?
recognize. This happens when they mimic your speech patterns, making you think, wow, they really get me. The idea is to create a sense of connection and trust, making the other person feel more comfortable. This tactic is rooted in our nature of finding common ground with people. So if you're talking to someone who makes you feel you're talking to your long-lost twin, it makes it easier to form connections. On the other hand, talking to someone who's the complete opposite is like talking to a rock. Imagine talking to someone at a party and you realize this guy is doing the same hand gestures and has the same tone you use. This makes you feel more connected in a way that would make you think he's a brother from another mother. You'd feel more understood and
Brother from
appreciated,
another mother.
leading to a stronger bond. It sounds good and all until someone uses it against you. Mirroring can also be used manipulatively, especially when someone wants to use it to gain influence or control. For example, a salesperson sees you're wearing a LeBron James jersey and
Ooh,
starts making you think
first thing
he's
they're gonna
also
talk
a
about.
basketball fan to create a sense
That brother
of
don't know nothing
familiarity,
about ball.
which would be enough to make you buy something. Or politicians might try to gain your vote by making you think you come from the same background because you
No, we
talk
don't.
the same and have similar values.
Nope.
You might think we're mirroring you because our videos make you feel connected with us, but we're not. Instead, we simply have a lot of things in common. So you might want to help us out by subscribing to our channel and joining our Discord.
Brother
Love
tried it.
withdrawal.
Tried
You
it.
and your partner disagree because you wanted to eat at an Italian restaurant and they wanted to go to a French bistro. But instead of resolving the situation, they stop being affectionate, maybe ignore your texts, or give you the silent treatment. It's like they've hit the pause button on love, and you're left wondering if you said something wrong or if the relationship is on the rocks. This is what happens when someone uses love withdrawal. It's a manipulation tactic where one person in a relationship suddenly goes as cold as frozen pizza to make the other person feel anxious or guilty. In most cases, the manipulative partner dials it back on the communication department and even makes physical and emotional interactions rare. You may be sleeping on the same bed, but there's no action happening under the sheets. People use this tactic to gain control or get what they want. By pulling back, they aim to make their partner feel insecure and more likely to apologize or change their behavior. It's a way to manipulate their feelings, sort of like a puppet master pulling strings, but way less
Great
jerk.
movie.
The tricky part is that this tactic can wear down the trust and connection in a relationship. Over time, it might lead to feelings of resentment and confusion. The partner on the receiving end might start doubting their self-worth, constantly seeking validation, which can become a never-ending cycle. On the other hand, the manipulative partner would always use the same playbook until it eventually wears the relationship down. In the end, love withdrawal can turn a relationship into a cold war, except it's missed texts instead of missiles.
What you think about that one, chat? That one by dumb fast. I ain't gonna lie. W knowledge, bro. W knowledge that we just learned. W knowledge that we just learned. W knowledge that we just learned. What y'all think about that one? I don't know. That was an okay video. Okay video. It was mid. It was alright. It was a mid vid. A mid vid. Now let's talk about something that everybody actually experiences. I even want to know myself. I ain't gonna lie, because a lot of that stuff. Oh, hold on. All right. Locking in this one. Every body glitch, bro. How many of y'all have a body glitch, bro? I know one of them. I ain't gonna lie. I used to do this all the time. I don't think I do it anymore. When I'm like in a super deep sleep and like my body's just oof out of nowhere, bro. Yo, one time I was taking a nap or whatever, and somebody tried to wake me up or something like that, and I did it. Oh my god, they almost got right there. It was my leg. It's like I was falling, and then my leg just to wake me up, bro. Let me know. That be happening to y'all?
You're sitting in a meeting, everything's quiet, and suddenly
Hate hiccups.
that weird little jolt
Hate
to your
hiccups.
diaphragm.
Bro. I swear, when I get hiccups, it comes from right here, and that it hurts. It hurts, bro. It hurts. It's not normal, bro. It's just not normal, bro. It hurts, bro. I feel it right here in the center mass, bro. And it comes all the way up, and it's just.
A hiccup is actually a spasm of the diaphragm, the muscle just below your lungs, followed by a sudden closure of your vocal cords, which causes the hic sound. It can be triggered by things like eating too fast, drinking carbonated beverages, or even a sudden change in temperature. But sometimes, there's no clear cause at all. It's like a nervous system hiccup, literally. Your brainstem misfires and your diaphragm reacts, making it one of the most classic body glitches out there. Brain freeze. It's a hot day.
Ooh, hey, the good brain freeze. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Oh, that guy biting ice cream? No, never do that. Never do that. I usually get brain freeze. I'm like drinking like a milkshake or like a smoothie. Oh my god, bro. Like, has anybody ever died from brain freeze? Hold on, bro. Like, has anybody ever died from brain freeze? Oh, this whole time I'm sitting here reacting, bro. Let's lock in. I'll keep the screen like this. Has anyone ever died from brain freeze? Not known to lead to death, although I can definitely say that's impossible. Okay, no idea. No idea if you can brain freeze to death. No idea.
Ice cream and bam, it feels like your brain just hit a wall of ice. Brain freeze, or sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia, if you're feeling fancy,
Huh?
happens when something cold touches the roof of your mouth. It chills the blood vessels, which then rapidly constrict and dilate. That sudden change tricks your brain into thinking the pain is coming from your forehead, not your mouth. It's a mix-up in signal processing.
Oh,
Your
that might be
body
a little.
confusing mouth pain for head pain, making this a neat
That might be a way to stop that. Make sure it don't touch the roof of my mouth, bro. That might be the method.
little sensory glitch. Shivering. Cold outside.
Oh,
Your
yo, I am a big shiverer. Big shiverer. I'm a big shiverer. Bro, I be freaking getting out the shower or coming back from inside. See, I can't even force it, bro. My teeth. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, big shiverer.
rapid, tiny muscle movements designed to generate heat. But here's the glitchy part. Shivering can also happen when you're scared, anxious, or even overwhelmed. That's because it's not just about temperature. It's about your nervous system going into overdrive. Your body thinks something is wrong and starts triggering defense mechanisms, even if you're not physically cold. It's like your body hitting the fight or freeze button without fully knowing why. Sneezing fits with no allergen.
Oh my god.
Ever had a sneezing attack where there's no dust, pollen, or pepper in sight? This might be your trigeminal nerve acting up. This nerve controls sensation in your face and can be triggered by sudden changes like cold air, bright light, or even emotional stress. Basically, your sneeze reflex is going off for no real reason. It's a miscommunication between sensory input and motor output. A sneeze
Our
without a
brains
cause,
are crazy,
and one of
bro.
the clearest examples of a reflex firing off like a broken circuit. Numbness, or pins and needles, paresthesia.
Yo, let me know if this is just me, bro. This could just be me, bro. Maybe this is just me, bro. If I ever use the bathroom, bro, you know what I'm saying? You're sitting down, doing the do, on your phone scrolling, and then you get up, legs are cooked. Legs, maybe it's just me, bro, because I know me, like when I be doing the do, bro, I be doom scrolling. I be doom scrolling. You mean? Doo scrolling. I just be sitting there, start to lose feeling in my knees. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'll get up, legs cooked, feet like, you know what I'm saying? You just got like you know what I'm saying? You know, bro. Let me know if I'm bugging, bro. But you definitely know what I'm talking about. I could just be bugging, but I don't think I am though. And if that's just me, I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of embarrassing, bro.
You sit on your leg too long, then it wakes up with a flurry of tingles. That's paresthesia. It happens when pressure cuts off blood flow or compresses a nerve, and the disrupted signals.
Ooh, that picture just reminded me of something too. Or like when you're on your phone, like I'll lay on my bed or whatever, and I'll just be playing the game on my phone or whatever, and the blood, like my hands, start to get cold, numb, no blood flow. But as soon as I lay down or stand up, ooh, Ooh, all that warmth comes right back. Comes right back. Comes right back. Feels amazing. Comes right back. Feels amazing.
Pushing back all at once. It's not actual needles, it's misfiring nerve endings, sending scrambled messages to your brain. Your nervous system is essentially rebooting. This glitch usually passes quickly, but in the moment, it feels like your body forgot how to be a leg. Goosebumps. You hear a song that hits just right, or suddenly step into a cold breeze, and your skin erupts in tiny bumps like it's reacting on its own. That's not imagination, it's your sympathetic nervous system kicking in. Goosebumps happen when small muscles at the base of your hair follicles, called erector pili, contract. This pulls the skin tight and makes the hair stand up. Why does it happen? It's a reflex triggered by either a drop in temperature or a spike in emotional intensity, fear, awe, excitement. Your brain sends an automatic signal through your nerves, and those tiny muscles respond instantly. It doesn't ask for permission, it just reacts. You're not in control,
Our
and that's what
brain is
makes it a
so
glitch.
crazy,
A
bro.
reflex firing off in situations where it might not be strictly necessary, leaving your skin trying to say something your words can't. Motion sickness. You're
I
on a
don't get
bus,
this.
scrolling through your phone, and suddenly, your stomach flips, your head spins, and everything feels just off. That's motion sickness in action. It kicks in when your senses stop agreeing on what's real. Your inner ear is picking up motion, turns, bumps, acceleration, while your eyes, locked on your screen, are saying, nope, we're perfectly still. Your brain tries to reconcile the contradiction and fails. In a panic, it assumes you might be hallucinating, or worse, poisoned. So it flips the nausea switch. Dizziness, cold sweats, even vomiting. All defense mechanisms against a threat that doesn't actually exist. It's not a
I don't
malfunction
get
in
that.
any one
I be
organ.
wondering how
It's a
people get
team
that,
failure.
or like
A
animals get
sensory
that.
system disagreement that ends with your body hitting the emergency button, all because your eyes and ears couldn't agree on what was going on. Teeth chattering. You're cold, and your teeth start shaking like you're freezing in a cartoon. Chattering is a rhythmic
We thinking
contraction of
that's the
jaw
same thing.
muscles,
That's
a way to
not the
create
clicking.
heat just like shivering. But it's not only caused by cold. Strong emotions, fear, anxiety can also trigger it. That's your sympathetic nervous system treating psychological stress as a physical threat.
Same nervous
It
system.
doesn't always know the difference between freezing temperatures and stage fright, so it sends the same shaky command either way. Ear popping. Going
Ooh,
up in an
happening to me all the
airplane,
time.
your ears pop.
Get you some gum,
That's your
brother.
eustachian tubes opening to
Get you
equalize
some
the
gum,
pressure
brother.
between your middle ear and the environment. When the pressure's off, your ears can feel plugged or muffled. Sometimes the tubes don't adjust fast enough or overcorrect, leading to random or stubborn pops. It's a pressure regulation glitch, your body trying to sync but missing the mark.
Bro, my trip, my 4 day trip. Went to Puerto Rico, right? Check me out. Went to Puerto Rico. Went to Puerto Rico. Over there, we went to like this waterfall. I'm saying it had 3 different ponds. The first pond had like a rope. You know, you climb like like almost like, you know, like 5 feet off of, you know, from the base of the waterfall, right? Bro, I did a front flip off of that little rock, landed right on my ear, right on my ear first, bro. I'm telling you, I kept doing flips and kept going down. My my ear, probably the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. My ear. Every time I burped, every time I sneezed, every time anything happened, like my ear felt like it was like exploding. Because all the pressure that was there, bro. Like that. Don't wish that on anybody, bro. Make sure when y'all do flips or whatever, bro, just lock in, bro. Lock in, not ear first, bro.
Jaw popping or clicking. You open
Happens to
wide
me
in a
all the
flip.
time.
Your jaw snaps like a loose.
You think this lockjaw, it gets stuck right there, and y'all can't close it. Otherwise, it hurts so bad. Ooh, that's haven't had that since I was a little kid.
Quirk of the temporomandibular joint, TMJ, which connects your jaw
TMJ right there. That's what I'll be calling it, lockjaw.
to your skull. If the disc inside shifts or the joint gets inflamed, you get that familiar popping sound. For some, it's harmless. For others, it causes pain. Either way, it's a mechanical issue, like your body's hardware slipping a gear. Stomach drop, elevator sensation. That weird flutter when a roller coaster drops or an elevator moves fast? That's your organs reacting to sudden motion. Your body moves quickly, but your internal organs take a split second to catch up. Your brain senses the motion mismatch and fires off a gut-level reaction. No danger, just an internal lag that tricks your brain into thinking something's off. It's like motion buffering.
I don't know what that one is.
Ear ringing. Ever hear a
Happens to me all the
high-pitched tone in
time.
complete silence? That's tinnitus, often caused by exposure to loud noise, aging, or even stress. It's not sound from the environment, it's generated inside your brain. The auditory system fills in the blanks when it doesn't get normal input, kind of like your brain refusing silence and playing its own track. It's one of the most frustrating glitches because it's hard to ignore, even though there's nothing actually
It be happening when no sound is going on for
Skin
me.
crawling sensation.
Oh, and there's, oh, oh. All my people know when y'all be on the game or whatever, y'all just chilling, whatever, feel a little tingle. Ooh, just right there, nothing's there. Come on, bro.
Feel like bugs are crawling on your skin, but there's nothing there? That's called formication. It's a nerve signal.
Or right after y'all see a bug and then y'all start feeling all the bugs. Oh my God, come on, bro.
Misfire, often caused by anxiety, fatigue, or neurological changes. Your brain receives a signal from the skin that doesn't make sense and interprets it as crawling or tingling. It's creepy, harmless, and feels like your sensory system is just making stuff up. Snatiation reflex,
What
sneezing
is
when full.
that?
You finish a big meal, lean back, and a chew. That's snatiation, the weird sneeze reflex triggered by a full stomach. It may be tied to the vagus nerve, which connects your brain to your gut. A stretched stomach might accidentally activate the sneeze center. It's rare, mostly harmless, and the perfect example of how tightly and weirdly interconnected your body's systems are. Eye floaters. Ever spot little squiggles drifting across your vision, especially when looking at a bright sky? Those are eye floaters. Tiny bits of collagen or debris floating in the vitreous humor of your eye. As light passes through, these cast shadows on your retina. They're harmless, but because they move with your eyes and never sit still, they feel like glitches in your field of vision. Your eye isn't broken, just a little dusty on the inside. Eye twitching, myokymia.
Happens to me all the time.
Your eyelid starts fluttering on its own. Super annoying and hard to ignore. That's myokymia. Tiny involuntary contractions of the eyelid muscles, often triggered by fatigue, stress, or caffeine overload.
I drink coffee, so it's definitely from fatigue.
From burnout. The muscle isn't in pain, but your body is basically glitching out, in protest to being overworked. It usually goes away on its own, but it's a real-life example of how stress can literally show on your face. Charlie horse, leg cramps.
Talk about it. The worst one. The worst one. You ever have a great sleep, a great nap, a great anything, and then your calf, this is your leg right here, and then your calf just boom. Oh my God. And then you're just sitting there in pain, writhing in pain, not knowing what to do, but you know you gotta move. You know you have to move the calf, bro. You know you have to move the leg. The worst one. The worst one, bro. The worst one. And then as soon as it goes away, you still feel the soreness. The worst one.
Middle of the night, you stretch, and suddenly your calf feels like it's being twisted by an invisible wrench. That's a Charlie horse. It's a sudden, involuntary muscle cramp, often in the legs, and it can be caused by dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, or overuse. But sometimes it just happens. Your muscle fires and refuses to relax. It's like your body's communication system glitched and locked a command in place. All you can do is wait it out, stretch it,
It's that stick
and
drift.
maybe curse a little. Muscle twitches, fasciculations. Ever had a random twitch in your arm or leg that just wouldn't stop? That's a fasciculation. Tiny muscle fibers are contracting without your permission, often from fatigue, dehydration, or stress. It feels like your muscles are tapping out SOS signals, but there's no real emergency. These twitches are usually harmless, but they're a classic sign of your nervous system firing off signals at random, like your body sending out texts with no autocorrect.
Yo, bro, our brain, our body is so
Photic
like
sneeze
crazy,
reflex,
bro.
sunlight sneezing.
What is
You walk
this?
into the sunlight and suddenly sneeze? You might have the photic sneeze reflex, something about 20 to 30% of people experience. It happens because the optic nerve and trigeminal nerve are close neighbors. When bright light stimulates your eyes, the sneeze command accidentally gets triggered. It's a neural crossover. One signal piggybacking
I think I
on
got
another
this
and
shot.
confusing your brain in the
I
process.
think I got this, bro.
So, how many of these glitches have you experienced? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably love my other one about
I think I got this, chat. I think I got that, bro. All right, that was W one. I ain't gonna lie, that was W. That was W. That was W. I think we got two more. I think we got two more, Jack. Super chill one. Super chill stream today.
Why is there something rather than nothing? Of all the questions humanity has
Lock in, lock in. Let's read it. Let's read it. Let's read it. Life's biggest philosophical questions explained in 13 minutes.
ever asked, this might be the most profound. Why does anything exist at all?
Quality?
Why is there a universe, a reality, rather than absolute nothingness? Why doesn't it all look like this? Hello? Hello? The German philosopher Gottfried Leibniz famously asked this very question, concluding that there must be a necessary being, something that exists by its own nature. Many religious traditions take this as an argument for God. But not everyone agrees. Bertrand Russell dismissed it outright, saying the universe simply is and there's no further explanation needed, which is a quite boring and unimaginative answer if you ask me. Modern physics, however, offers other possibilities. The Big Bang Theory suggests our universe had a beginning, but what came before it? Some physicists argue that quantum mechanics allows for
I
something
think
to
we came
emerge
from nothing or
nothing,
something.
an unstable vacuum state that inevitably produces existence. Others propose that our universe is just one of many in an infinite multiverse, removing the need for a singular cause. Still, these explanations only push the question further. Why do these laws of physics exist in the first place? Why not nothing? Perhaps, as Martin Heidegger suggested, this is simply the fundamental question of existence, one we may never truly answer. But one thing is clear: there is something rather than nothing. So now that you are here, you might as well get the best out of it.
Gotta
Does
learn and
God
pass, bro. You
exist?
gotta learn and
If there is
pass.
something rather than nothing, does that imply a creator? For centuries, this question has fueled debate between philosophers,
Nobody really
theologians,
knows.
and scientists alike. The cosmological argument, famously put forth by
I will
Aquinas,
ever know.
asserts that everything in existence must
Faithful
have
belief.
a cause. Trace those causes back far enough, and there must be an uncaused first cause, something that exists by necessity rather than contingency, often identified as God. The teleological argument, or the watchmaker analogy, suggests that the universe's complexity and order hint at intelligent design. Even modern physics, with its precise fundamental constants, has led some scientists to believe the universe is fine-tuned for life, suggesting a creator. But skeptics argue that science provides natural explanations. Evolution explains the diversity of life without divine intervention. The problem of evil challenges the notion of an all-powerful, all-good God. If he is good and sentient, why allow suffering? Some argue that belief in God is a product of human psychology, a way to find meaning in a chaotic world. The debate continues. Science hasn't proven God's existence, but it hasn't disproven it either. Personally, I'm agnostic. I don't know, and I
Sure.
don't think anyone does or ever will. Some see God as the answer to
I don't
existence.
know.
Others see no need for one. In the end, it might be a question we're simply not meant to answer. Are we alone in the universe? The vastness of the
Chat. Aliens are real, gang.
universe
Aliens are real,
suggests
bro.
that life should be abundant. So
Aliens
why
are real,
haven't
bro.
we found any? Physicist Enrico Fermi famously posed the question, where is everybody? His observation, now known as Fermi's paradox, points out that if intelligent life is common, we should have seen some evidence by now. Signals, spacecraft, megastructures, something. Instead, the universe remains eerily silent. One way to estimate the
I
number
just
of
don't think we're ready
extraterrestrial
yet.
civilizations is through Drake's equation,
I just don't
a
think we're
formula
ready yet.
developed by astrophysicist Frank Drake. It factors in things like the number of habitable planets, the probability of life developing, and how long civilizations might survive. The math suggests that intelligent life should be common. But where is it? One possibility.
We're just
We
not
may
ready
be
yet.
alone.
We're not ready yet.
Intelligent life
I don't think
could
we're
be
alone.
extremely rare.
That'd be crazy.
Another, civilizations self-destruct before reaching interstellar travel, or they could be actively avoiding us. Some believe that civilizations exist, but choose to stay quiet out of fear. This idea, known as the dark forest theory, suggests that shouting into the void is dangerous, because if intelligent species compete for survival, it might be best to remain hidden. If the dark forest theory is true, it is a bit awkward for us. Oops. But if that theory is wrong, then why the silence? Are we the first?
I never
Are we
thought
the
about that
last?
one. That'd be kind of
Or are we
crazy,
simply
actually.
not listening
I guess that's what a
properly?
lot of movies
I
is
don't know
based
which
off
is
of
more
and stuff.
terrifying. The idea that we are truly alone, or that other intelligent beings exist, ones that might see us in the same way as we once saw lesser developed civilizations here on Earth. If history is any guide, first contact doesn't always end well. What is consciousness? Consciousness is the core of human experience, the awareness of self, thoughts,
Bro,
and
some stuff we
sensations.
just not meant to
Yet,
answer, not
science
meant
and
to know,
philosophy
bro. We
still
just
struggle to define
know.
what it
You know what I'm
truly
saying?
is.
We just know.
Philosopher David Chalmers differentiates between the easy problems, explaining how the brain processes information, and the hard problem. Why does brain activity create subjective experience? Why does it feel like something to be conscious? Most scientists take a materialist view, arguing that consciousness emerges from neural interactions. Some believe it's just advanced information processing, while others see it as an illusion. Neuroscience ties consciousness to activity in the cerebral cortex and thalamus. Brain scans has identified brain activity associated with awareness, suggesting that consciousness only happens in the brain. However, not everyone agrees. In contrast, dualists following Descartes suggest that consciousness exists separately from the physical body, a view shared by many religious traditions that link it to the soul. Some theories go even further. Panpsychism suggests that consciousness is a universal property of matter, while quantum theories, like those of Roger Penrose, propose that consciousness arises from quantum processes in neurons. If materialists are right and consciousness arises purely from physical processes, could artificial intelligence ever become truly conscious? Some argue it can only mimic awareness, while others believe a sufficiently advanced AI might develop subjective experience. If robots can gain awareness, does that mean that we are just biological machines, or is awareness something deeper, perhaps even fundamental to existence itself? Do we have free will? The question of free will, whether
Yo, there's this. I think he's gonna talk about it here. The fucking thing where it's like you get a choice, but like even if you go back and get to redo that choice again, you're still gonna pick the same thing. Crazy, because every single experience that you ever had, every single thing you ever learned, is gonna lead right back to that same thing. Man, bro, it's
we
just
truly make choices
crazy.
or merely follow predetermined paths has been a philosophical battleground for centuries. Some argue that we are the architects
Shout
of
out
our
them
own
philosophers,
actions,
man.
while others claim our sense of control is
Y'all
just
are
an illusion.
geniuses.
Many believe in libertarian free will, the idea that human beings can make genuine choices unconstrained by past events. This view underpins our sense of moral responsibility. Punishment and reward only make sense if people have the capacity to choose between right and wrong. Religious traditions often affirm this belief, seeing free will as essential to divine justice. Determinists argue that everything, including human decisions, is the result of prior causes, our biology, upbringing, and the laws of physics. According to some findings in neuroscience, brain activity linked to
Bro, the
decision
brain is
occurs
crazy,
before we
bro.
consciously decide,
Oh, this
suggesting
is what
our
he's talking about right here.
choices are predetermined
The
rather
ice cream
than
thing.
freely made. If your brain activity precedes your awareness of a choice that has already been made, then do you have free will? Some, like David Hume
Guys, I
and
became
Daniel
deja vu.
Dennett, propose
What
compatibilism,
think about that?
the idea that free will and determinism can coexist. They argue that as long as we act in accordance with our own
I
desires,
think I
without
seen a theory about deja vu, and it was actually amazing. Check me out. Deja vu, right? To this theory I seen, your brain is never not active. Your brain is always doing something. Your brain, as you sit and think right now, it's processing every other possible outcome that could ever happen ever. Every possible outcome that could ever happen ever. and sometimes it's occasionally right. So when you get to that point, you think that you've already been there before because your brain has already imagined it. That's gas, dog. That theory, whoever made that, shout out to you. That was gas, and I definitely believe that, bro. I think your brain is always constantly doing something. You're never not doing anything at all, and then when you actually experience that thing, you're like, oh shit, I've been here before. I've done this before. I remember seeing this. I remember doing this or whatever. It's because your brain, when it was fucking bored of shit, when you were sitting there doing nothing, it thought about you doing that or the possibility of you being able to do that at one point.
We are free in a meaningful sense, even if those desires are shaped by forces beyond our control. What is the nature of reality? Do we experience the world as it truly is, or is our perception merely a filtered illusion? Materialism, the dominant scientific view, holds that reality consists solely of physical matter governed by natural laws.
Everything we know has been told to us by something else. We actually know nothing at all. Type stuff.
But quantum mechanics challenges this assumption. Experiments suggest that observation affects reality, and particles exist in multiple states until measured. Philosophers have long questioned the reliability of our senses. Plato's allegory of the cave argued that we perceive only shadows of a deeper truth. Kant suggested that reality as it exists is unknowable, filtered through the limitations of human perception. Idealists like Berkeley went further, claiming that reality is purely
if you watch the stream, you're gonna be real knowledgeful, bro. You're gonna really know some things, bro. You're gonna learn more, so make sure you share and lock in, bro.
Could be an artificial construct.
Go to your friend, bro, so they can gain some knowledge, bro, and be smart like me.
Or something beyond our understanding. The question remains. Do we shape reality, or does reality shape us?
Ooh.
What is the meaning of life?
No idea. To pass information, because nobody will ever know. Meaning of life is to pass information on as it was passed to you, because eventually somebody's going to learn something that nobody else has learned before.
Often provide purpose through divine will. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism suggest life is a test, with moral choices determining.
All you can do is pass on to the next what you learn, so that they can teach their people, and just keep it moving. And eventually somebody's going to learn more than what we learned before.
Meaning through faith, but are they inherent truths?
Just keep it moving, keep it pushing, bro.
Existentialists like Sartre and Camus reject preordained purpose, arguing that meaning must be created by the individual. Nihilists take a darker view, claiming life is inherently meaningless, while humanists propose that meaning arises through relationships, creativity, and the pursuit of knowledge. Science, rooted in evolution, suggests that life has no intrinsic purpose beyond survival and reproduction. Yet, the study of consciousness, the universe, and the nature of reality leaves room for deeper inquiry. Is meaning subjective, or is there a hidden order to existence? Ultimately, the answer may be whatever we choose to make of it. Is there life after death? Few questions have...
Yo, chat, what do y'all think about afterlife? Let me tell you my theory, bro. Let me tell you my theory. Lock in and see if y'all mess with this, bro. I think that after we all pass, after everybody passes, you get to free roam. You get to not relive, but re-experience everything you ever experienced from other people's perspective, bro. That's gas. Like I think when we pass, like you guys will be able to see what I'm doing from my perspective. And I think that's where people get the notion to where like you're gonna die and then you'll get reborn into somebody else that's doing something else. You know what I'm saying? That's where I think they get that idea from, because I think that when we pass, we're going to be able to experience everything from anyone's perspective. A free roam type of thing, like a sandbox afterlife. But it won't be new. It'll be new to you because you weren't there initially to experience that. So it's new to you, but not new to somebody else. That's my theory, bro. That's my theory, bro. Lock it in, bro.
Every culture, religion, and philosophy
and that's what I believe,
grappled with the mystery. Yet no definitive answer.
Like I said, nobody really knows till you know.
Does consciousness continue in some form, or is death simply the end? Many
nobody really knows till you know
that an afterlife awaits.
Nobody want to experience
in Christianity,
it
Islam, and Judaism, souls are believed to persist in heaven, hell or other spiritual realms. Hinduism and Buddhism teach reincarnation, where the soul is reborn in a cycle of karmic justice until reaching enlightenment. These beliefs offer comfort and guidelines on how to obtain the best outcome. But are they more than wishful thinking? From a scientific standpoint, the dominant view is materialism. The idea that consciousness is a product of the brain, and when the brain dies, so does the mind. Near-death experiences challenge this notion. People who have clinically died and been revived often report floating above their bodies, seeing bright lights, or encountering deceased loved ones. Some claim to have recalled events they couldn't have physically witnessed, leading some researchers to question whether consciousness might exist separately from the brain. One theory we've already touched on, Roger Penrose's quantum theories, suggests that consciousness might be more than just a product of the brain. If true, this raises the possibility that it doesn't simply vanish when we die. But without empirical proof, the question lingers. Does something await us on the other side, or is death truly the end? Alright, so those were some of the biggest philosophical questions
I'm gonna go to sleep and have like some crazy ass dreams about like just knowledge. Just knowledge. That was a banger. Okay, I have 2 more vids. We're at that hour mark, so I'm gonna only do one of these. What should we do? Paradoxes, or should we do what happens when the villain is right? I think I ain't gonna lie, we already learned this stuff, so let's just keep learning, bruh. Paradoxes, let's go. Mindfuck paradoxes that will keep you up at night. Lock it in.
You're sitting at home and you're bored because let's say it's 1977 and there's no such thing as the internet or smartphones. Looking for something to do to entertain yourself, you suddenly remember that heap of sand that's in the corner of your living room. I mean, everyone's got one of those. So you decide you're gonna relocate the heap of sand to another part of the living room. Except just to make it fun, you decide to move the heap 1 grain at a time. Why would you do such a thing? Well, kids, because the one thing they did have in the 70s were drugs. Really, really good drugs. So as you're moving the sand grain by grain, a thought occurs to you. At what point does the heap of sand not become a heap anymore? Obviously, if you move 1 grain, it's still a heap. Same thing with 2 or 3. But what about 100? 1,000? And once it's not a heap anymore, what exactly is it, besides a big mess on your floor that you're gonna have to clean up later? The Sorites paradox is all about the vagueness of language. Because the word heap doesn't have a specific quantity assigned to it, the nature of a heap is subjective. It also leads to false premises. For example, if you try the paradox in reverse, you start with a single grain of sand, which is not a heap.
And then put a bunch of them.
That 1 grain of
but
sand
at that
plus
point,
another
were
grain
you
of
moving
sand
the
is also
big
not a
pile,
heap.
or are you moving
Then
the small
2 grains
pile?
of sand plus another grain of sand is also not a heap. This continues until the statement, a
Oh, yo, you
quadrillion.
wanna go out, bro? Hold on, bro. Hold on, bro. Hold on, bro. Yo, bro. Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, brother? Chat, it's not TOS, bro. Alright.
Grains of sand is not a heap, which, as we know, does not make sense. Of course, moving a pile of sand from one part of the floor to another part doesn't make a lot of sense either. This experience teaches us 2 things. First, language can be subjective and may have a different meaning from person to person. And secondly, don't do drugs, kids, especially in the 70s. But what you should do is subscribe. The Hangman's Paradox. Let's say you're making a cross-country trip, and you get caught speeding in one of those small towns in the south. You go before a judge that has a reputation of being one of the toughest judges around, but you're not too worried. After all, you were just going 7 over the speed limit. How bad could the punishment be? And then the judge sentences you to death. Not only that, he's kind of a dick about it. He tells you that the hanging will take place at noon on one weekday in the following week, but that the execution will be a surprise. You won't know the day of the hanging until the executioner knocks on the cell door at noon that day. The more you think about it, you realize 2 things. First, that's a terrible surprise. The second thing that occurs to you is they're not really gonna hang you. You've thought about it logically, and here's why you came to that conclusion. You begin by concluding that the surprise hanging can't be on Friday, because if he hasn't hanged you by Thursday, there's only 1 day left, and so it won't be a surprise if you're hanged on Friday. You then reason that the surprise hanging can't be on Thursday either, because Friday has already been eliminated, and if you haven't been hanged by Wednesday noon, the hanging must occur on Thursday, making a Thursday hanging not a surprise either. And with the same reasoning, you conclude that the hanging can't also occur on Wednesday, Tuesday, or Monday. And joyfully, you retire to your cell, confident that the hanging will not occur at all. The next week, the executioner knocks on your door at noon on Wednesday, which, despite all the above, was an utter surprise to you. Everything the judge said came true. Hopefully this taught you a couple things. First, no matter how smart you think you are, and I know you're smart because you're watching my videos, there's always something you didn't see coming. And the second takeaway? Stay out of the South. If you absolutely have to drive through there, go the speed limit. The teleportation paradox. Speaking of Star Trek, let's talk about teleportation for a minute. We've all seen it. Maybe you're not old enough for Star Trek, but you've seen it used in X-Men Days of Future Past, or Rick and Morty.
Oh, I think I've seen this. You know more after you teleport.
But while you're sitting there, dipping your chicken nuggets in Szechuan sauce, did you ever think about what exactly happens when you teleport? One minute, you're standing on the Enterprise and wondering why you chose to wear your red uniform shirt. And the next minute, you're on a strange planet fighting a losing battle with a six-headed space monster. But how did it happen? There was a version of you that disappeared, and then in the blink of an eye, you were completely rebuilt and appeared in a new location. But is the new version really you? After all, your old self was just completely destroyed and nothing was left. Is the new version the same, or like the sequel to hit movie Finding Nemo, known as Finding Dory, is the new version just not quite the same? And even if the new version is constructed the exact same way, is your soul really still intact? In other words, if it's even still you, is it really you? I mean, you're made up of all the same stuff, but you're not made of the exact same stuff, if that makes any sense at all. The crocodile paradox. This one comes from the 16th century and actually helped shape the language. Imagine there's a mother who's out for a nice walk with her small child. All of a sudden, a crocodile appears and snatches the child. The woman, who's seeing her hopes of being named Renaissance Mother of the Year go up in smoke, pleads with the croc to return the child. In an unexpected twist, the crocodile not only understands her, it proposes a deal. He'll only return the child safely if the mother can correctly guess whether or not he will indeed return the boy. So if the mother guesses that the crocodile will return him, if she's right, he's returned. If she's wrong, the crocodile keeps him. Are you starting to see the problem here? I mean, a problem other than the fact that she appears to be a really bad mom. But if she correctly guesses that the crocodile never intended to return the child, and that was indeed the croc's intention, then the crocodile has to return the child. But in doing so, breaks his word and contradicts the mother's answer. On the other hand, if she is wrong and the crocodile actually did intend to return the boy, the crocodile must then keep him, even though he intended not to, thereby also breaking his word. This conundrum made such an impression on the people in the Middle Ages that they came up with the word crocodilite to describe a dilemma where you admit something that's later used against you. That's one big reason that, to this day, police still employ the tactic of good croc, bad croc when trying to get a confession out of a suspect. The hot dog paradox. Okay, being real, this one isn't so much of a paradox as it is a question you and your stone buddies would ask each other in your dorm room at 3 AM, right after you spent an hour debating which orange came first, the color or the fruit. The question is a hot dog a sandwich? Well, first of all, because I know there are some nitpickers.
Ooh, is a hot dog a sandwich? What quantifies a sandwich? Bread and meat. But the hot dog is one bread folded. Damn. A meatball sub is a sandwich though, so why is the hot dog not a sandwich? Lock it in, bro. Hot dog is a sandwich.
A hot dog is technically just a meat tube. The real question would be, is a hot dog on some sort of bread a sandwich? Notice no one ever asked the real question everyone wants to know. What the hell is actually in a hot dog? As far as the sandwich thing goes, it turns out there is an answer. According to the leading hot dog maker in the world, Oscar Mayer, and the Merriam-Webster dictionary, yeah, a hot dog's a sandwich. But is it really that simple? Surely no one could argue with those authorities, right? Well, say hello to the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council, which I swear to God is a real organization. Those killjoys over the NHDSC say definitively that a hot dog is not a sandwich. They issued a press release and everything, as well as having an entire page of their website devoted to explaining their position. They list 12 reasons to back up their stance, but we're not listening to them all over here. Get over here and read them if you want, but I think
if you were watching a great athlete show off during a game, you would not call him a sandwich. This ESPN broadcast sandwich eating contest. Imagine being in the ballpark with an organ playing, the crowd cheering, the vendor walking through, sandwich, get your sandwich here. Dirty Harry would not have sounded nearly ominous if he said never put mayo on my sandwich and never put ketchup on a hot. Get arrested for putting ketchup on his Chicago. I don't lie. How does this prove anything at all? Oh, you guys can't see it at all. Yeah, that doesn't. That's dumb.
Videos on YouTube time, but not listening to 12 mostly dumb reasons why a hot dog is not a sandwich kind of time. Anyway, The experience machine. Here's a fun one. Let's say you could plug into a machine that would give you any experience you desired.
Oh, but did you actually experience it?
Your brain so that you would think
Come on,
and
bro.
feel that you were writing a great novel, making a friend, or reading an interesting book. Think of it like entering the Matrix voluntarily. You're just floating in a tank with electrolytes attached, but because you're pre-programmed, feels like you're out there, racing at Daytona, climbing Mount Everest, or reading a great book with Sydney Sweeney. Because we live in a universe with no apparent purpose, and because our lives are often characterized by less than ideal conditions like working, suffering, and being a Jets fan, we have no good reason to opt for something substantially better, even if it's quote-unquote artificial. But
It's like
what
the
about
whole
if you
VR
really
thing,
believe
bro. They be saying like if you got a VR headset on and you did something on the VR, like it's so close to being real that you wouldn't even be able to differentiate if it was real or not. Like you can quite literally have memories from the VR and you won't be able to differentiate if it happened during the VR or not, bro. Come on, lock
What about
it, bro.
satisfying our true desires? Do those things matter as much as fulfilling every desire you have? This question has been debated by philosophers for centuries, but in fairness, most of those debates happened before Sydney Sweeney was born. Just saying. The free will paradox. Let's talk about free will. We all have it, right? I mean, for the most part. Like, if you've been married 30 years and it's Valentine's Day, you better be giving her some flowers. It's still your free will in play. After all, you chose to send her those flowers, just like you chose not to sleep on the couch for a week. But is free will really an illusion? The argument is there's no such thing as free will because every thought and every decision is influenced by some sort of environmental event. Don't believe me? Okay, try this. If free will is real and it's based on your thought process, tell me what your next thought will be. Are you thinking about how to prove free will is real? If you are, you're doing it in response to my question. Now, are you thinking about how you'd like to reach through your phone and rip my esophagus out? Well, that's just another example of, you know what, I think you get it. Let's move on. The card paradox. Here's one to try the next time you're at a party, if you never want to be invited to another party. Take an index card and write, the statement on the other side of this card is true. We'll call that statement A. Turn the card over, and the opposite side reads, the statement on the other side of this card is false. Trying to assign any truth to either statement A or B, however, leads to a paradox. If A is true, then B must be as well. But for B to be true, A has to be false. And oppositely, if A is false, then B must be false too, which ultimately makes A true. Sit back and watch the fun.
Are they both false or both true?
Increasingly annoyed, and pretty soon people start asking other questions, including but not limited to, who invited this guy? And why did he bring an index card and not beer like a normal human being? Would it be morally correct to rip out his esophagus? All very valid questions. And here's my favorite paradox of all time. Unlike many others which have been around for centuries and have been pondered by some of the best minds around, this one was dreamed up in this century and has been pondered mainly on TikTok. This is the Rick Astley paradox. According to Rick's 1987 smash hit, Never Gonna Give You Up, he will never give you up, and he will never let you down. But let's say your dog just chewed up the DVD of your favorite movie, the 2009 Pixar classic Up. No problem, since your friend Rick Astley is also a huge Pixar fan, and you know for a fact he has a copy of the movie. But because he's Rick Astley, it's the director's cut, with tons of deleted scenes, commentary from the cast, and all kinds of extras. That's when Rick tells you that he can't give you up. After all, it's right there in the title of the song.
Can't give you
had your
up.
heart set on watching your favorite movie, and because he won't part with his copy, he has indeed let you down. Rick is sad and struggles to process this information. His eye begins to twitch, his lips move but no words come out, until ultimately his head explodes and he collapses. Great paradox, right? The Foreigner paradox. This is a variation of the ship of Theseus paradox, where you gradually replace a ship's boards one by one, until
Is it still the same ship?
rebuilt with all new boards.
I have seen that
The
one.
question
Is it the same
is it
ship?
the same ship? But since nobody builds ships out of wood anymore, let's talk about classic rock bands. In particular, the band Foreigner. They sold over 80 million records in the 70s and 80s with hits like Cold as Ice and Waiting for a Girl Like You. But time is undefeated, and some members have gone to that big jukebox in the sky, while others decided that 50 years on the road is enough. Here's the paradox. Mick Jones was the last original member, and he stopped touring in 2023, but Foreigner still tours, and they'll be at it again this year. So what band are we seeing? With no original members remaining, aren't we really just seeing a Foreigner cover band with great marketing? So you're Achilles, the greatest runner in Greece. You're jacked, you have a bad heel problem, but let's set that aside for now. As one does, it appears you've decided to raise a tortoise. Yeah, you're going up against a turtle. What's that? Turtles aren't the same as tortoises, you say? Guess we don't need this guy anymore. Look what you've done. So you challenge this turtle because you enjoy winning and like the simple victories. But here's the fun part. You let the tortoise have a small head start, just to make it more exciting. Well, plot twist. This dude named Zeno is convinced that this race will go on forever. Yup. Okay, here's how it goes. Once the race starts, each time Achilles gets to where the tortoise was, the tortoise is moved just a little bit ahead. When Achilles arrives at that new place, the tortoise has already moved forwards again. The gap is getting smaller and smaller, but Zeno says it'll never actually reach zero, meaning Achilles is destined to always chase the tortoise but will never be able to catch him. In reality, that would make no sense. Achilles
what the that was so dumb.
But in the slightly cooler Zeno's paradox, Achilles finds himself stuck in a never-ending cycle of fractions. I hopefully don't need to explain to you that realistically you can travel distances. But at the same time, can you think of an explanation for why the paradox doesn't affect us? The paradox of omnipotence. You're a powerful, wise being, and everything's going well. You can create worlds,
seen this one too.
oceans, and still find time for a heavenly rest.
Create a rock that
One
you
day,
can't lift
in
or some
Philosophy
shit, right?
101, someone asks, "Hey, Almighty One, can you make a rock so heavy that even you can't lift it?" Yikes. Out of nowhere, you, the most powerful being in the universe, find yourself trapped in a never-ending logic loop. If you create the rock, you won't be able to lift it, which shows there's something beyond your reach. But if you really can't make it, then there's something you won't be able to do. Nobody's gonna win. So option 1, you make the rock and struggle to lift it. Let's say you move forward to make that happen, the perfect stone. It's so heavy and big that not even your incredible, endless strength can lift it up. The rock is the winner, meaning there's something you couldn't do. Lift it up. Your all-powerful credit card? Cancelled. Your resume? Gotta update it, get back on LinkedIn. Option 2 is you can't make the rock. Okay, so maybe you see that the first choice is a trick and you think, I'll find a clever way to answer this question.
Make the rock, but don't even try to lift it.
Awesome, isn't it? Wrong.
Then you can't make it.
If you can't manage to move this rock, then there's something you're unable to do. You're supposed to be all-powerful, so where's all the power? Or you just make it, then lift it as well. But that would again be a task you couldn't.
You're all-powerful, just don't even
It's just
fucking
an
listen to
endless loop and
underlings.
a very confusing one. Anyway, if you made it to the end, subscribe.
That was a banger.
And
That was a banger. I ain't gonna lie, that was a banger. I did know some of them already, bro. Shout out YouTube because I'll be fucking watching YouTube. But yeah, bro, I hope y'all enjoyed that one. That was a super chill one. That was an hour and 12 minutes. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Tomorrow I'm gonna lock in, play Outlast. Stop being scared, bro. And yeah, bro, I'll see you on the next one, bro. Peace.